cell phone. Please make sure it's not making noise. We want to respect the performers today, and you guys are welcome to start whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Kelsey Brown.
Hello, my name is Jordan Garrison.
Hi, I'm Chloe King.
Hello, I'm Ian Edwin.
And today our performance is A Legacy of Sadness.
Leadership that rose out of the ashes.
Triangle Shirtwaist Fire.
To achieve the American dream. Isn't that what everybody wants? Years ago, immigrants came to the United States looking to better themselves in their way of life. America was portrayed as a land where the streets were paved with gold, and as long as you work hard, you could earn a fair wage. People were practically waiting in the streets to get a job, waiting with welcoming arms, or so they were told.
Next. Name. What's your name?
Pauline, sir.
Do you not have a last name? 'Cause I have a last name, and she has a last name.
I'm sorry, Mr. Harris. That is Newman, sir.
Okay, then Pauline Newman. Do you have any experience as a seamstress?
Well, yes, sir. I was very good at hemming and taking in dresses.
I don't care about your life story. A simple yes or no was all that I needed. Next.
Many of the incoming immigrants were easy prey for the factory owners and their willingness to work. People worked all day long in unsafe conditions. Overcrowding, poor ventilations, and dangerous machinery was a part of everyday life in the factories. The workers, who were mostly teenagers and did not speak any English, worked 12-hour days, 7 days a week, only making $15 a week. The workers had had enough. They decided to rise up against the unfair labor conditions they were forced to work in. In the fall of 1909, the local garment union declared a strike against factories and their owners. National labor and feminist figures spoke in support of the local rallies. A spirit of solidarity grew throughout New York's cotton factory district, and a general strike was called.
Over 20,000 garment workers, 4/5 of them women, walked off their job. This was a turning point for factory workers. Many of them did see a change in their workplace environments, however, some did not. Let us tell you a story about a factory in New York City. The workers there were, for the most part, either Italian or Jewish immigrants between the ages of only 13 and 23. They were there to just try and make a better life for themselves and their families.
These workers were employed by the Triangle Shirtwaist Company. This company makes women's dress shirts with some of the finest material that could be found. They also found a legacy for being one of the worst sweatshops in New York City.
Some of these workers were leaders of the 1909 strike. They had voiced their concerns about wages and fair working conditions. Many had been addressed, but one important one was ignored. Workers' safety, especially fire safety, a failure that had tragic consequences on the Triangle Company.
Fire! The building's on fire! The doors are locked. We have to get out of here. Come with me to the fire escape. It'll take us so far down we can jump the rest of the way if we have to.
No, come with me to the elevators. They're not working now. We can get on the cables and slide down.
We must go to the windows. Maybe we can jump. Maybe someone will catch us. Maybe.
Long in their bondage, the people have waited, lulled to inaction by pulpit and press, hoping in time their wrongs would soon be abated, trusting the ballot to give them redress. Vainly they trusted a high court decision, swept the last bulwark of freedom away. People's voices were met with derision, and people in action no court will gainsay.
In less than 1 hour, 146 people, mostly immigrant women, had died in one of the worst industrial fires in U.S. history.
The ash building, which housed the Triangle Company, was considered fireproof. The fire equipment available was considered state-of-the-art. Does a state-of-the-art building have no fire alarms, no fire escapes, and a fire hose that will only reach to the 6th floor? The metal doors were locked in some places. This way they could keep track of the girls. Oh wait, there was one fire escape, but it only reached the 2nd floor. It collapsed under the weight of the escaping workers, dumping the bodies on the concrete floor.
What could they do? How could they get out? All they had left to do was jump. The scene was horrible. As the fire department had arrived, the top 3 floors had turned into red furnaces, and bodies were falling, already burned, to
One passerby, after witnessing a horrible scene, referred to it as
The day it was raining children.
She will never forget the terrible sound each body made as it hit the sidewalk below. The scene was horrible. Bodies lay upon bodies. Workers were trying to convince others in the building to
Hold on. Help is coming. But the fire was engulfing them. One veteran policeman was asked to comment about the fire. As he stared down at one of the charred bodies that had been recovered, a reporter asked him,
Is it a man or a woman?
It's human. That's all you can tell. This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
the Triangle Shirtwaist Company employed about 600 women and less than 100 men. One of the saddest features of the fire was that the workday was almost over. If the fire was started 5 minutes later, no lives would have been lost.
The company's owners, Max Blanc and Isaac Harris, had fled when the fire began, and they survived. Charges were later brought against the two, but they were acquitted.
The loss of a life that could have been avoided was too much for people to bear. The workers were fed up with the unsafe conditions, and they wanted to make sure a tragedy like the Triangle Fire would never happen again. So they took to the streets and they made their voices heard. Many people, some rich and some poor, stepped up to become leaders of this movement. Anne Morgan, daughter of millionaire J.P. Morgan, and Alva Belmont, two of New York's wealthiest women, hosted meetings to demand laws on fire safety. A young witness to the fire, Frances Perkins, who would later become Secretary of Labor during the Roosevelt administration, will never let what she saw that day fade away. She would become a leader in pushing for comprehensive safety and compensation laws for workers.
Miss Perkins worked hand in hand with the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. She kept the tragic legacy of the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire always in front of the governmental officials' watchful eye, and she made sure that any safety violations were immediately corrected.
Rose Snyderman, who was a prominent socialist and a union activist leader, spoke during a memorial for the Triangle workers. In this speech, she wanted the tragic legacy of the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire to stay with the workers always. In this speech, she wanted them to never forget what had happened that day so that their lives and the lives of the workers would never meet the tragic ending as did the workers of the Triangle Company.
I would be a traitor to the poor burned bodies if I came here to talk good fellowship. We have tried you, people in public, and we have found you wanting. It is every week that I must learn about one of my sister workers dying in a fire. Property is so cheap and lives are so sacred, it matters little if 146 of us are burned to death in a fire. I can't talk good fellowship to you who are gathered here, for too much blood has been spilled. We have tried you, people in public, and we have found the only way to save ourselves is a strong working class movement.
The legacy of the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire still carries on today. Even before the terrible fire, workers walked off the job along with 20,000 other workers in protesting unfair and unsafe working conditions.
But this protest alone had changed the course of history for working people. Changes had to be made, and they were. The 146 lives that were lost that day had not yet been affected by the new laws.
But the sad legacy of the fire at the Triangle Shirtwaist Company was instrumental in laying down groundwork for fair working conditions for hard-working men and women today.
Factory fire.
1901.
Was that in part of the dialogue?
I don't think so, but there was a part that talked about when they went on strike in 1909. And recently, on March 25th, we celebrated the 104th anniversary of the fire.
So let's start with, how did you guys go about your research and what drew you to this labor topic versus something else?
Well, first we started researching on the internet, and we found it really interesting that when we started reading, we got more into reading everything, and we found out that the company's owners, Isaac Blanc and Max Harris, they burned down the buildings just to get the insurance money